Welcome back, everybody. Tim Berry here, Baywatch Arms and Accessories, or also Baywatch Custom Powder Coating. Just wanted to do this little video today. I've had several people request or ask how I did my tumblers, how I get such detailed design, and I decided that I'm going to start doing a couple tutorials. Now, being that I do this for a business and it's not a home hobby, I decided these tutorials, if it gets into any detail, I'm going to make them available through Patreon. So if you want to be a Patreon supporter, I would love to have you do that. It shows me encouragement. It shows that people like what they see that I do. They want to see more, and I am willing to do that. This is the first time, I've used Patreon, I also want to, I was up in the air for a while about whether to do this or not. My wife actually said I shouldn't do it. She said, don't give away all your trade secrets. And, which, there's not a lot of money to be made in the tumblers, in the powder coating. But I do enjoy doing it. Where your money's going to come in is if you can get big volume, and do more than just one tumbler design, because you're actually going to lose money spending the time to sit down and do the design. Now, I have probably right now a total of, I'm going to guess to say, in the neighborhood about 50 different designs that I've done to date. And I have several more. And what I'm going to do is, the tier level for this this Patreon support for the tutorials is going to be $7. I figured that's not too much to spend on a monthly basis if you think the information you're getting is substantial enough to justify that. And it's some of the people may get more out of the tutorial than the other, and the reason I'm stating that is the equipment that I use to powder coat is more than likely going to be different than the home hobbyist. I use what I would class as professional equipment. Not the stuff that you'll buy from Harbor Freight, which that stuff works is fine. But one of my biggest features that benefits me is a good quality vinyl cutter. And I am using what is actually it's let me look over here. It is the Vinyl Express is the brand. It's a 24-inch cutter, and that's what all my designs are based around. I can't say whether you're going to get the same quality of cuts as I get. I have had to make changes, which it's like my cutter comes standard with a 45-degree blade, and because the graphics sometimes get so small that it wants to pull the vinyl that's been cut instead of leaving it in place. So I switched to a 60-degree cutter, which is just a little, where the 45 would be here, the 60 would be up here. It's a little bit steeper, and it did help a lot of problems. It didn't fix all of them, but it helped. Now, with this tutorial, this is right now is just the intro to the tutorial. But what I'm going to do, my plans are, is if I get support for this and you guys would like to donate, it does several things. It gets me incentive to do more videos. It gives me incentive to talk more about this stuff, help you out, answer questions that you may have. And by no means am I a trained professional on this. Okay? I have been doing powder coating tumblers for about 1.5 years now. And I spent several months, probably in the neighborhood of 4 months, 5 months, working the bugs out of my process. Excuse me. I had many issues along the way. How to wrap them, how to mask them up, how to peel the vinyl, issues with the glue, the temperatures, the pressure I sprayed with, the powder I used, to get the best design. And I can honestly say, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here, but from day one to now, there's probably been a tenfold improvement on the final product of my tumblers. And like I said, one of the biggest issues was, if you'll excuse me, something in my eye, is putting the vinyl on to spray the pattern and then getting it back off. How long to cure it? So I played with that. I've actually got that down to where it works pretty good, and maybe 1 out of 20 tumblers I'll have a problem with glue residue coming off the vinyl and wanting to stick to the tumbler. Now I have very few issues. But anyway, back more to the point of what these tutorials are going to be about. I'm going to start with picking a design. If you would like to forward me a design, I will look at that. I'm not going to promise that I'll use it. I want to start off kind of simple. Some of the things that I do use, which you may or may not have access to, is the Adobe products. I use several of the Adobe products throughout the day. I use Illustrator for my designs. If I find a design or an image on the internet that I want to use and it's too pixelated, I'll use Photoshop, and I'll go in there and change the image settings and all that, try to take away some of that pixelation. And those are the two main products. Now I subscribe monthly to Adobe, and it's like $49 a month. But and I use about half a dozen of their products, between the Lightroom, Dreamweaver, Premiere Pro, After Effects. So it is beneficial to me to have the subscription, the total subscription. I also use a program that came with my cutter that lays it out on the grid for printing or cutting. So those are some of the basics. Now I will step through, and once the design is done, it will be made available to be downloaded. So if you like the design, you don't want to hassle with drawing it, it's going to be made available. And I'm going to go through from step 1 all the way to the end, which is powder coating. There are several things. There are some things that, not several, but there are some things that I do when I'm powder coating that I see a lot of people don't do. And my personal belief is it helps improve the durability of the tumbler. Because this, when you put a design on these tumblers, the powder is it can be easily chipped off. Okay, you drop it, you nick it, you scratch it. If that powder's not bonded, then it's not going to want to stick. So it becomes a shell. The powder becomes the shell over the tumbler, and you want to protect that shell. So one of the main things that I use, and I put it on all my tumblers, unless it's requested, and if it's requested that I don't, then I will tell the customer that I cannot guarantee if you bang this, ding this, your ring scratches it, your keys scratch it, that it won't chip off. But the product I use, it's made by Columbia Coatings. It's called Super Durable Wet Clear. And once my tumbler is all the colors and the design is all there, I spray a final coat of Super Durable Wet Clear. Now it protects in several ways. It helps with more UV protection. It is more durable than your standard powder coat. And if you've done a design on a tumbler, and you know where one color meets another, even though it may lay down a little bit, you can still feel that edge is pretty prominent. So what this does, this will blend all that in. It helps make it flow a little bit better. I'm not saying that it flows the material underneath, but it gives it the appearance. And I've had several people ask me, are these vinyl decals? And there's sometimes some of them are shocked when I say no. It's 100% powder coat. I only use the vinyl as either a decal. And the reason I say decal or stencil is, let's say I do a rose, okay? Now the rose may be red, there may be some black and green in it, but I want the final color to be yellow. So I'll make a decal to go over the outline of the rose, so I can spray the yellow all the way around the tumbler. So that's what I'm calling a decal. It is not a decal that stays on there. This is just to protect the tumbler design while the final color is being sprayed. Once the powder gels, that decal comes off and then is put in for the final cure, and then after the final cure, then goes the clear powder. But I'm going to step this through every aspect. I'm going to show you the design. I'm going to show you how I offset for the color separation and making sure that there's no base areas that show stainless through it. If it's got 3 colors, it's going to have four pieces of vinyl. If it's 3 colors on 2 sides, you're going to double that. So I'm going to tell you the type of vinyl I use. I'm going to tell you about the equipment I use, and the the picks that I use to weed the vinyl, the transfer tape. I'm going to tell you about everything that I do, but my only thing is, it is going to be through Patreon. Because I did this on my own. I talked to a couple of powder coat companies. I watched a lot of videos. I have learned some things from those guys, but most of this you're going to have to learn on your own, because it's like when you're wanting to take a vinyl off and get ready to cure your vinyl and your lettering is real small. If you put too much heat on that vinyl to remove it, you can actually heat up the powder, and that'll all be explained. I'm going to go from step one to the end to the completed product. In the beginning, I'm just going to make it available. If somebody needs to save it in a format other than Adobe Illustrator, and I have the capability of doing that, I will. If I don't have a format that I can save it to that suits you, we'll see if we can figure out a solution. If you have problems, I'm going to give you my phone number. I'm just a one-man shop. Primarily, I am in the firearms business. I don't sell a lot of firearms. I do a lot of refinishing in Cerakote and refinishing the wood, gunsmithing, that kind of thing. And then I started on the powder coat, which that has progressed really nicely, but it needs to progress further. So that's basically what I'm going to do. I would like to see you subscribe. There may be some tutorials that are available for lower members or lower tier level members on Patreon, but I'm pretty set on the $7. It's not something that you have to stay with. If you're not pleased, cancel your patronage to my Patreon page. But if you're not happy, I would like to know why. There are several levels with my Patreon. There's going to be a $1 Patreon, a $3, a $5, a $7, and I haven't decided above a $7. There will be from time to time things sent to the patrons that saying thank you for my support or for supporting my channel and my Patreon page, and just thank you in general for the support. I can't say what those are going to be right now. I am still in the thought process of that, but that's the basics of it. And within the next couple of days, I am going to start looking for a design to do that may suit a lot of people. I will say this about the designs. Due to the shape and the way a tumbler, whether it's Yeti, Arctic, Ozark, whatever brand tumbler you're using, I prefer Arctic. Basically, I try to keep my retail price level low to show interest, because I know what I know what these Yetis cost out the door, just a bare Yeti. And honestly, if I wasn't in this doing this for a business, I would probably not want to spend the money on a designed Yeti, because the Yeti price is higher than some of the other ones. I have people bring me their Yetis. I have people bring me their Ozarks. but I just prefer the Arctics. I can't exactly say why. I think one works as well as the others. But I'm going to leave that here for today, and I do hope to see you join my Patreon page and support me, because it's just, I think it will be beneficial. If you do join, I just don't want you to join to download all the available drawings and then go away. To me, you're being dishonest, you're cheating. I know everybody, and I do it too, will download images on the internet, make drawings from them. And I know there's people that will say, that may be the same thing, but I'm kind of torn in that area. But one thing I know I won't do is, if somebody had a Patreon page that I supported and they had several drawings available for something I want to do, I would not go out there, sign up for a month, download, and then go away. To me, that's dishonest, and that's all I ask. I can't prevent it from happening. I hope it doesn't. Will it? More than likely. But I do thank you for watching this video. If you watched it all the way through, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I would also like you to join and be one of the patrons that support me. And as I said, from time to time, there may be gifts that's sent out. So when you sign up, please give me your address. Your addresses are confidential with me. I do not sell addresses. I do not sell names. I do not sell any information. Of course, I'm not a big corporation, and the information I have and customer list that I have is not worth anything to anybody. But even if I was approached, I do not sell those. So you can be assured of that. And thanks again for watching this video, and I hope to see you soon, and I hope to see you sign up for my Patreon page. It's in case I forgot earlier in the video, if you want to sign up for my Patreon and support me, go to patreon.com/BaywatchArms. You'll see a little bit of a biographical or biography information there. Tell a little about me and my history and what I've done, and my time from early on to now. But thank you for watching, and hope to see you soon, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.